Hello and welcome to Track 3, the Accelerated Online Learning Academy. This presentation is designed to inform you about the current trends in online education. Online education is one of the hottest topics in higher education right now. The nation's top universities have traditionally offered courses to an elite few, but today, hundreds of thousands of people around the world are enrolling in classes at universities like Stanford and MIT. These higher education institutions and many more now provide free online classes to anyone, anywhere. At the same time, other universities are offering on-campus students the opportunity to enroll in a growing number of online classes. As universities move toward instruction online, observers say higher education and possibly the business model is being redefined. The shift in distance education happened due to the unprecedented growth of the internet. Never before has the internet been as mature and available to as many people as it is now. Trends and cultures are changing faster than ever because of this new level of connectivity. Two other complementary movements in the educational landscape provided momentum for this shift. First, the merging of online teaching and learning into the stream of everyday practices at universities. This shift has caused a great increase in the number of faculty as well as students who are participating and benefiting from the new online realm. Second, the increasingly salient role of distance education programs in higher education institutions is the next reason. In 2012, according to the Sloan Foundation that surveyed over 2,800 academic leaders, they found that the proportion of chief academic leaders that say that online learning is critical to their long-term strategy is at a new high of 69.1%. This is a huge jump from the percentage just a decade ago. Defining a typical online student is getting harder to do as blended programs, MOOCs, and new online course options become more widely available through the range of institutions and services. On-campus students are increasingly enrolling in online courses, and online students are being supported by services offered on campus or by other physical locations. The online learner is evolving, representing a wide range of ages and previous experiences, but still often being defined as traditional or non-traditional. Each of these groups enters the learning environment with different skills and expectations. While younger students who will enter college in the next few years are already using technology to access resources and communicate, older students who may be new to some of the technologies are learning and finding satisfaction in online programs. Multiple reports assess the current demographics of students and their preferences for technology use. The 10th Annual Survey, a collaborative effort by the Babson Survey Research Group and the College Board, is the leading barometer of online education in the United States. Based on the responses of those over 2,800 academic leaders, the survey report entitled Changing Course, 10 Years of Tracking Online Education in the United States reveals that over 6.7 million students were taking at least one online course during the fall 2011 term. This is an increase of 570,000 students over the previous year. We also know that 32% of higher education students now take at least one course online. Among the key trends of online education are the following. First, students are demanding that they use one single mobile device, such as a smartphone, a tablet, or laptop, to access their resources. The growth and demand for mobile accessibility is one that we will continue to see grow. Another trend is called gamification. It has long been known that games and simulations are the most powerful learning tools we have, short of the real thing. For many years, just as with social media, some employers have been suspicious of games as just time wasters and have banned them from their companies and computers. Recently, the idea of using games or elements of games for learning has become a hot trend, mostly in the corporate sector. Next interesting trend is that university level courses are being offered free or at a low cost using MOOCs or massive online open courses. Examples of companies offering MOOCs are edX, Coursera, Udacity, Course Academy, Skillshare, Udemy, PTPU, just to name a few. These courses are being taken by hundreds of thousands of students, to which many are saying is democratizing higher education in a way never seen before. Research, scholarship, and interest in self-directed learning has literally exploded around the world in recent years. With a large number of adult learners over the age of 25 in higher education programs, there are already an increasing number of self-paced and competency-based programs, which will be becoming more common with traditional students in a trend dubbed flipping the classroom. In essence, self-directed learning is seen as any study form in which individuals have primary responsibility for planning, implementing, and even evaluating the effort. Most people, when asked, will proclaim a preference for assuming such responsibility whenever possible. As we have already mentioned, massive open online courses represent a recent trend in online education. With so many universities offering their top caliber courses through platforms such as Coursera, edX, and Udemy, or Udacity, not only do these MOOCs offer students the ability to gain knowledge from courses that are taught from the top universities, they also allow for an environment for individuals who are interested in similar topics to come together and learn alongside one another. Higher education adoption of massive open online courses remains low. As the graph below illustrates, only 2.6% of higher education institutions currently have a MOOC, or massive open online course. Another 9.4% report MOOCs are in the planning stages. So we can see from this movement that this is still relatively a new trend. There's a huge shift in the conceptual framework on the approach to learning that leads to more participatory and student-centered learning activity. This shift transforms the teacher-student relationship to be more centered on student learning and the instructor's role becoming more facilitative in nature. I want to spend a little time on this slide and look at some of these areas of growth. As you think about developing your new online or hybrid courses, I want you to think about how your role will change. As you see and think about yourself as the faculty member in the classroom, you have been known, as some would say, the sage on the stage. As you see in the new approach in terms of online education, you now become an active participant. You spend much of your time before the course ever starts designing this course. But when the course begins, you become, as you see listed here, under learner, an active participant. Knowledge is no longer a fixed object. We are no longer focusing on just the textbook and the professor. Knowledge is transformed fluidly and dynamically through an open and often chaotic process. Take some time to think about how this shift will change your own teaching. Now I want to spend a little bit of time talking more about policy. Data shows with the economic downturn, there is a greater demand for online courses. But what this push for online education opportunities has forced universities to reconsider existing policies and adopt new policies related to academic authentication, academic plagiarism, accreditation, as well as governance and oversight. Many of these policies were never considered to be important issues in the past. For instance, the Academic Authentication Address in the Reauthorization Act of Higher Education of 2008 requires institutions to now outline what policies are in place to authenticate the student registered for the online course is in fact the student taking the course. In addition, the state authorization letter that is being hotly contested right now focuses on the idea that institutions without physical presence in a state where students are taking online courses should possibly apply state by state for approval. While institutions recognize the need to provide online student support services, the most effective approaches for delivering and developing these services are not always clear. The need to support students inside and outside the online classroom calls for collaborative efforts from many constituents. In addition to what is needed by all new college students, students who are new to the online learning environment need to know what to expect from the online learning experience. They need to know in advance whether they have or can obtain the required hardware, software, and technical skills. Students also need to be introduced to the strategies about how to be successful when the teaching and the learning environment is shifted with respect to the time and location. Successful on-ground instruction does not always translate to successful online instruction. If facilitators or faculty are not properly trained in the online delivery and methodologies, the success of the online course will be compromised. An instructor must be able to communicate well in writing and in the language in which the course is offered. An online instructor must be able to compensate for the lack of physical presence by creating a supportive environment where all students feel comfortable participating, and especially where students know that their instructor is accessible. Therefore, there is a need for highly qualified online faculty. No longer will the old model of have Blackboard will travel be sufficient. Faculty need to have a deeper understanding of the guiding principles as well as the andragogy and pedagogical approaches that drive online education. The current vision of higher education is being dramatically shaped by the necessity to include online education in the central conversation of university affairs. You'll note from this slide that the proportion of chief academic leaders that say that online learning is critical to their long-term strategy is now at an all-time high of 69.1%. You'll note also from this graph that in 2003, the chart notes that the rate was well below 50%. At the same time, only 32.2% of chief academic officers believe that their faculty accept the value and legitimacy of online. This is a rate that is lower than what was recorded in 2004. The ultimate potential of online teaching and learning is the potential to redefine teaching in a new, meaningful, and collegial way. Working with a diverse group of faculty, instructional designers, and online learning specialists allows a team of individuals to come together with complementary competencies. We know that the real opportunity that the online realm provides resides less in the technology itself than in the practices and discourse that it promotes individually and institutionally. This concludes this first presentation. I hope that you've gotten a true sense of the current trends of online education.